and says it's time to rock and roll.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
All right.
What's going on, everybody? This is Tony from Comiverse. Welcome you back to a special episode of Into the Comiverse. I mean, if you are a Gen X kid raised in the 80s, I mean, let's be honest, this last week has just practically kicked you in the nuts. I mean, we lost three really great, iconic 80s personalities in Theo, Michael Jamal Warner. We lost the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, and we lost the immortal Hulk Hogan. And tonight we're going to spend a little bit and talk about all three. The main emphasis being on Ozzy, but I mean, Ozzy was like, you know, he formed a band that pretty much invented heavy metal, became famous, became the Prince of Darkness, was dismissed from the band, started a solo career that eclipsed the band that he was in previously, and then in the early 2000s became a reality show sensation. So, I mean, it goes without saying that Ozzy Osbourne has been an influential, iconic role model in people's lives and childhoods for like the last 50 years. And I'm going to bring a brother out real quick, and we're going to start talking about it. So let me welcome y'all to the stage. This is Matt from Heroes for Hire Comic Club. How you doing, Matt?
How you doing?
It's been a rough week for all of us. I mean, you know, first we found out Theo passed away, and then the bomb dropped, 17 days after his historic Back to the Beginning concert in Birmingham, England, where they raised $190 million for Parkinson's research and children's hospitals. Ozzy died. I mean, and I've seen a lot of people talking like Tony Iommi and them, and they believe that he held out just for that show. He was.
I believe he wheeled himself over the finish line, and he went out with his boots on.
Yeah,
it's the whole
and for him to
say.
And for him to accomplish that, for them to accomplish that, making that kind of money for charity, it kind of makes you really think, he really wasn't the Prince of Darkness.
Did I put that on the wrong? Did I put that on the wrong hand? I can't remember, but it don't matter.
It looks right. It looks right to me, man. Looks good. So we're going to talk about, like I said, we're going to talk about Theo, or we're going to talk about Hulk. We're going to talk about Ozzy a lot. And I was going to say that we'll go to the chat, but first and foremost, if you're watching and you would like to join the panel and talk about one of these three individuals, the link is posted at the top as always. And then we got, as Chris the comic vet would say, I'm the present in the chat group.
I had to drop a cool.
All things I have lost, I miss my mind the most. I forgot he said that. That is cool.
Well, I was like watching Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, the Metal Years, yesterday, because I like that. I was born in '76, tail end of Generation X, and I was really into like Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne, and I remember listening to Ozzy before I listened to Sabbath because I was too young to remember.
I did too.
And but then my older cousin's like, oh, if you like that, you're really gonna like this, and he gave me two tapes, Master of Reality and Paranoid.
Yes.
And when I heard Master of Reality, it blew my 10-year-old mind.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff on there. Sweet Leaf, After Forever. I mean, the list just goes on and on. There's a lot of great Black Sabbath gems in that freaking album. It's amazing. I want to take a bit.
The O, it looked like a D. So there we go.
I'm gonna say, hey, my brother Tim, one of the biggest Ozzy fans that I know, next to my brother Scott, who passed away last year. Man,
that's really right.
Says, for the Prince of Darkness, he brought so much light to the lives of so many people. Rest in peace to the
Absolutely.
legendary Ozzy Osbourne.
And the one thing about the Oz man, if you've ever seen him live or seen a video of him live, he says he told the audience how much he loved them, like several times. And then when he ended the show, I love you. I effing love you guys. I'm getting kind of emotional thinking about it because I could really feel the love. He really put his heart and soul to all his performances. And I don't know, man. I'm really gonna miss it, but like, it's kind of like Tony. I was talking to my friend James the other day on FaceTime, and we were like, kind of having a group therapy session about Ozzy because we're big music lovers.
Yeah,
I'm like, we're going to embrace ourselves because these guys aren't getting any older or younger. We got Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, Angus Young,
Alice Cooper.
Malcolm. We already lost Malcolm.
Yeah,
and
we got Alice Cooper.
Alice, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan. They're all going. They're not getting younger. So we're going to have to brace ourselves. It's going to be a tough next 4 or 5 years, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I
We already
know.
lost David Bowie, was it 6 years ago? So
Yeah. There was another gentleman that passed away this week, and I can't think of his name. Y'all gonna have to forgive me.
oh, I know it.
The guy that played the trumpet.
Chuck
He was real
Mangione.
big. Yeah, he was real big in the 70s and 80s. He had a song called "Feel So Good," and when I seen the song title, I was like, I don't know the song. And then I looked it up and listened to the song, and I went, everybody's heard that song, and I can't really explain it. But
Oh, I mean, it's like a smooth jazz. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to get a picture of my Ozzy. I keep pushing the wrong button. All right, hold on.
No.
All right, sorry.
Now I don't do this that often, but I'm going to promote my buddy Tim. I'm going to brag about my buddy Tim because most of the time, as you can tell, usually in anything I do for my Comiverse channel, I'm the one that does the thumbnail. And I sent him a thumbnail. Yeah, I kind of had a ulterior motive because it was the one I was going to use. I used it on my Instagram and Facebook for this episode, but I knew him. So I asked him if he'd do one. If he'd do one because he's pretty good at this stuff, and this is about something that he is very passionate about. We're talking about Ozzy, so I'm going to thank Tim for making the thumbnail for tonight's episode. He made that. That was pretty awesome. Because as soon as I seen that, I went, "Oh, geez, man, I got to use that. That's freaking amazing." So thanks to Tim for that. And so yeah, for me, Ozzy, like you, he was well into his solo career. Randy had already died, and I didn't even know who Randy was. But
I didn't know who he was until later. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the first cassettes I ever owned was The Ultimate Sin, and I bought it because I'd seen the video for Shot in the Dark on MTV. Yes, back in the days when MTV played music videos. Yeah. And it was funny because when it came out, I seen the video for Shot in the Dark, and I want to say I saw the video for The Ultimate Sin, and I happened to be at Walmart or somewhere. But anyway, I bought Ultimate Sin on cassette. And then like 2 months later, No Rest for the Wicked come out. So this was like 88. And that album drove a lot of my family, the religious family members, insane. But I mean, it was good. I mean, for all of you who don't know, when you see when us 80s kids saw that parental advisory sticker on our favorite albums, it told us which stuff to buy.
There's a funny quote from Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, the bass player.
Yeah.
He said, "You mean?" He said, "They told me, our manager said they're going to start putting these parental advisory warning labels on your albums." He said, "Well, great. That'll make people want to buy them even more. That's great marketing."
That was like the best thing they could have ever done, man.
Yeah.
My buddy Tim said one of my favorite concerts was seeing Ozzy with Alice in Chains opening at the Pyramid in Memphis in '92 and on Halloween weekend.
I may have seen that same tour. Is that the one, Timothy? Is that the one where Lane Staley had broken his leg on that tour, riding an ATV, I think, and he had to do the show in a wheelchair, I think? Or the one I saw it was. I've seen Ozzy 2 or 3 times, twice on Ozfest. but I think I remember Lane Staley being in a wheelchair for that. My older cousin, the one I was telling you about that gave me the Sabbath tapes,
Yeah.
he was at the show in 1982 at Knoxville,
Ooh.
Tennessee.
The one where he got arrested?
No, the
Or
one.
No,
that was
the last
Randy
show.
Rhoads-
The last show. Randy's
Randy Rhoads'
last show.
show.
Yeah.
But that's nothing to it's nothing to brag about. But like, at least he got to see Randy one last time. I mean, the thing is, we don't know how. I heard somebody talk about this the other day, and I don't know why they want to talk about it now. But Randy may have been. He may not have been in that band much longer at that point because his star was taken off. But what they did together though was amazing. I think Ozzy would tell you this too if he was still here. Sharon will probably say this. I mean, we talked to these people are in our life so much. Tony, I'm talking about them like I know them or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you do that because.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Sharon and Randy both helped save his career and his life. Even though he didn't get off the drugs, obviously he's been in the Betty Ford Clinic and he had those struggles throughout his life. But I think his family kept him grounded.
Oh yeah,
and he has other children, I think, from his previous marriage. But
until
he
he
has
passed away.
I know, but.
I was going to say, until he passed away, I thought Sharon was his only wife. I didn't know that he had been married before. But
he touched a lot of people. I mean, there's a great clip in that. I was watching this video of them live in '89 in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And just the way he treats his fans, like this girl runs up to the edge of the stage. She got past the barricade, and Ozzy didn't shoo her away. He helped her on the stage and started jumping up and down with her and gave her a kiss on the cheek. And then, or they escorted her off, of course, because she'd be in the way for the rest of the show. But
yeah,
he gave her moment, and a lot of them don't do that kind of crap.
Oh no. I know. Going back to what we was talking about when I was talking about getting that No Rest for the Wicked tape, like your friends, I was surrounded by friends going, "Oh man, you need to listen to this." And of course, they introduced me to Bark at the Moon, and that was my buddy Tim. He introduced me to Bark at the Moon and Blizzard of Oz. Diary of a Madman, and then somehow I got a hold of Master of Reality, and we sold our souls for rock and roll, and those were the only two Black Sabbath albums I ever actually had on tape. But I heard, you heard all the other stuff, Four Pigs, Paranoid, Iron Man, and I honestly used to make a lot of people mad because I always preferred the Dio version of Black Sabbath, but that was just me. But I never really looked down on Ozzy because Ozzy. He did some pretty kick-ass shit in Black Sabbath. I mean,
and just look at this album cover. What teenage boy or young pubescent kid would not want to buy that album cover? If you're in the comic books, it's almost like a Frazetta painting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take a minute to say hi to Brian LCS. How you doing, brother? And
Brian,
tell everyone we have 1 week left. August 2nd is the last day you can nominate your favorite YouTube content creators for the CBC Awards. So you go to www.cbcawards.org to nominate your favorite content creators. And as I've said before, for the first time this year, Comiverse is a sponsor of the CBC Awards.
Tony, you mind if I share my favorite photograph of Ozzy Osbourne ever?
Go right ahead, dude.
This is my first favorite. I have a second favorite too.
And see the thing.
See, Randy was a real tiny guy, so Ozzy just picked him up like he was a little kid.
Oh yeah, watching those videos, like when you watch like Crazy Train and the other stuff that with Randy, you get the idea that he was just really short, skin and bones.
Yeah. And here's my second favorite pick of Ozzy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Hold on, man. I'm doing this all wrong. Hold on. There we go.
Okay. Hold on.
Let's do it better.
I lost it. Hold on. Well, I'll re-show that one of Randy.
Yeah, that's the iconic tribute. I mean, poster. I ran out of time, and I've got a folder that was given to me by my buddy Scott, and it's got a bunch of the old like posters from like Metal Edge, Circus, of different bands. Oh yeah, and there's some Ozzy in there, and one of them is a 2-page centerfold of that picture of Ozzy holding Randy up. And I said that once if I ever redo my room, that's amazing. Dude, yeah, I mean, those are some awesome album covers.
Yeah, Kirby, it's the it's on the album cover for the tribute to Randy.
Yeah.
You can take me off for now, Tony. That's all I
Okay.
want to tell you. But I could. You mean to play that? You could probably hear it. You heard it when I played it earlier. Put me back up there. I'm sorry. I'm
Well, hold on before you play anything. Let's introduce Rich. How you doing, brother?
What's up,
Rich,
guys? What's going on?
I just wanted this right here. Really, Zach Wild posted this on his Instagram, and it almost made me cry. Actually, I ain't gonna lie, it made me cry. It's him and Jack when he was a little boy, and he's showing Jack what he said. What you say to the people after the show?
Place that down, you put your heart in your hand and you say good night. There. And you say good night. There. And then what do you say?
Good night. We love you all.
That's the way to go, boy. And in there.
Oh, that is amazing. That is awesome.
All right.
How you doing, Rich?
I'm good, man. How are you, Tom?
Pretty good.
Sorry,
As
man.
you know,
Super
we're
late.
that's all right. We're talking about Ozzy and Malcolm Jamal Warner and Hulk Hogan here in a little bit, and just the fact that if you're a Gen X kid and you grew up in the '80s, you got kicked in the nuts pretty hard this week.
Yeah, I didn't really know Malcolm Jamal, but the other two, man, that's crazy.
Well, see, I just remember Malcolm as Theo from the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
I know he was in a show called Malcolm in the Middle, but I didn't watch it. So I mean,
Either.
He was also sometimes he did some guest shots on the show Community. With the character Shirley's husband. Yeah, he seemed like a good guy though. I don't know. We don't know these people, but
no.
for all the stuff about Ozzy though, it's like okay. Look, I don't think this is an unfair comparison, but I think it was like the thing I felt was like this is the Elvis or John Lennon of heavy metal music that just passed away.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I had a clip, but I didn't have it edited in time. But everybody knows I love Kiss, so they were talking to Gene Simmons, and normally when Gene gets up and starts talking, I'm like, oh God, here we go. But he talked about Ozzy, and he compared Ozzy. He called him a singularity. He said before Ozzy, there was no Ozzy. There was nobody. You could look at Ozzy and see that he was not influenced by anybody. He was just Ozzy. He was Ozzy until the day he died. And that he said there was nobody like him before, and there'll never be another person like him again. And I was like, wow, I can't believe Gene Simmons said that. And actually, he was getting kind of choked up about it when he was talking about it. So, I mean, and I know the guy from Ghost, Tobias Forge, even he said, for somebody called the Prince of Darkness, he spent a lot of his life shining light to the world.
And let's not also take away the fact that not only at that last show did everybody in the hard rock and heavy metal community show up. We had Billy Corgan was there, Metallica was there, Zach Wild and Pantera was there, Phil Anselmo, even that young guy, Youngblood, who I kind of grew him after I heard him sing Changes, by the way. And even Nuno Betancourt was there from Extreme. Even Jake E. Lee showed up.
Yeah. Guns N' Roses was there. Hellstorm
TNR,
was there. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of people.
Tool was there. Jack Black,
And nobody got paid, from what I understand.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. They raised $199 million for Parkinson's research and the Birmingham Children's Hospital.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, I'd read a thing on Randy's Jake E. Lee's Instagram page where he had gotten a text right after the show from Ozzy talking about how when he got to feeling better and when his health got better, he was going to fly out to L.A. and talk to him and hang out because he missed him. Yeah. And I was like, wow.
That was the kind of thing that happened with him was That they fired him, but I read about that, and it was on Sharon. She got rid of him.
Yeah, that was on Sharon. That wasn't Ozzy.
Yeah, because he started talking about, well, I want to get my publishing rights because he helped him write a lot of Ultimate Sin.
Yeah.
And
not only that, but "Bark at the Moon" when he had the song pretty much done before he even joined Ozzy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but yeah, but that kind of stuff happens in the music business, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like. Also, J.Q. Lee had just got over. He'd been shot. He was out walking his dog in Las Vegas, where he lives, and was shot by somebody.
Yeah, I remember that. And my buddy Greg says he's definitely glad I have the vinyl. Yeah, man. Just a few days before Ozzy passed away, Greg was showing me all the '80s vinyl that he'd had, and he had a couple of Ozzy albums in there, and I was like, man, I have like 4 Ozzy albums on CD. I have no vinyl. But I'm going to have to, I figure somewhere down the line, these record companies, whoever owns the rights to the music of Black Sabbath and Ozzy, is going to re-release the entire catalogs on vinyl again. It's only a matter of time.
I know I'm probably annoying the hell out of y'all, like asking to show stuff, but I'll show one more thing. I've already shared this with Tony before, earlier this week, but I didn't know this comic book variant cover existed.
Yeah,
and now it's on my wish list.
Hold on.
It's got a glare.
It's Dark Knight's Death Metal #7.
Oh yeah.
With the Batman Who Laughs and Ozzy.
That's cool.
And then there's another one I want. Patient number 9. It's a McFarlane cover.
Yeah, dude. When you mentioned that, I went to eBay and started looking, and they had like CD packages where you could buy the CD for Patient number 9 and get that comic book for like $50.
I found one right now for $25 that I'm sitting on until I get paid.
It's crazy how much vinyl has made a comeback.
Oh yeah, dude. What'd I do? There we go. I've got a few vinyls, but yeah, because I kept saying like I'd go and I'd see Bark at the Moon, and I seen No More Tears, and I seen that Patient number 9. I was looking at Patient number 9 at Walmart where I work for 3 weeks, going, I think I'll buy that. And then today I walk in there and it's gone. And I was like, well, yeah, that's to be expected. Somebody saw that, snatched it up. Because, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, go look up Ozzy Osbourne vinyl first pressings on eBay. The first pressings. Sure. Even used, you're like 75. It starts at 75 and goes up. And
I got another thing we could mention is the creation of Ozfest. He helped a lot of young heavy metal and hard rock musicians get to go on a major tour. People like Tool that toured with him, Pantera, Marilyn Manson, Limp Bizkit, Korn.
Hell, even Black Sabbath did a few of them.
All these guys, yeah. Slipknot. That's when I first saw Slipknot was at Ozfest, and I was lucky enough to see Ozzy solo on Ozfest 2000, and in 2001 Black Sabbath was on there.
Yeah,
and so I got to see the best of both worlds, so to speak. I mean, Zach wasn't in the band at the time, but I think it was Mike Borden and what's his name, Trejo. What's his first? I can't never remember his first name.
I keep wanting to say Danny.
Metallica now. Yeah.
Is it Robert? Is it Robert?
Robert. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And he's just all over the place. And I'm proud to say that my row got hit with one of the Ozzy's famous buckets of water.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. So, here's the task. I'm going to ask a question for the 3 people counting myself in the panel and everybody in the chat, the 9 people that are watching. What are your favorite Ozzy albums?
His solo albums, right? Or is that what we're doing right now?
You can throw some Black Sabbath in there. I mean, I'm not going to be picky.
Okay.
We'll start. Okay, Sabbath, like Sabbath. When he was with Sabbath, what would be your favorite Sabbath album that he did?
I don't really know the albums, which songs are on which albums, but the Paranoid album.
Yeah,
that was. That's one of my favorite songs.
I was gonna say I know everybody talks about the first album, the self-titled album that came out on February 13th. I believe it was 1970, 72, something like that. But My favorite Black Sabbath album with Ozzy is Master of Reality. I love that album.
I love it. Yeah. I would say like if I had to pick like 4 or 5 of them in no particular order, it would be Paranoid, Master of Reality. I'm looking at because I had to refresh my memory. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and the Sabbath, that one. And then the last one I would probably say would be Sabotage. Is pretty good too. That's probably their last great record was Sabotage.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like. I know I can't remember that. Never Say Die wasn't that well received, but the band was on the verge of breaking up at that point. So
and now we'll talk about the solo stuff. What about the solo stuff? That's a little bit harder than because think about it, man. Everything he released in the '80s was gold. I mean,
well, obviously you got to say Blizzard of Oz,
yeah,
Diary of a Madman, Bark at the Moon, Ultimate Sin, and then I would say like No More Tears, and that's probably my favorites right there.
I was going to say my top 3 favorites would probably be No Rest for the Wicked, Ultimate Sin, and No More Tears, and that's nothing against the others because I love Blues of Oz, and I really love Bark at the Moon. I mean, it's a really great album. Diary has my favorite Ozzy song, and that's Over the Mountain. So I mean,
yeah, and look, I love another song. I love. Okay, I guess my top 5 would be "Shot in the Dark," "Flying High Again," "Ultimate," the actual song "Ultimate Sin."
That video cracks me up.
Yeah, No More Tears. That bass line.
Oh yeah,
is just top notch. And then the Zakk Wylde's guitar solo, and then I would have to go with probably something from if we go with Blizzard of Oz, I'd have to pick something from there too. Probably Mr. Crowley, because you got the keyboard synth in there with it. You got Randy Rhoads playing this blistering solo in it, and it's got this like scary, like spooky feel to it, and like he's singing about Aleister Crowley for God's sake. So it's all like that's probably where all the devil worshiping stuff kind of came in, that and Sabbath. And I remember, I had family like that too. You shouldn't let your son listen to that. He's evil. Ozzy, he bites the head off of bats. And
yeah, I remember hearing that crap.
Like, he bit the head off a bat by mistake. Now he did bite the head off a dove once.
Yeah, that was intentional.
And that was intentional, but he had drunk like, I think he said like 10 or 15 like Brandy Alexanders. Yeah. And this is like what did Sharon said, we need to make a good impression here. He said, "Oh, I'll make a good impression."
What about you, Rich?
I don't see. I don't know the albums that much, but
What about songs? Just
Mama,
songs.
I'm Coming Home. That album.
That's a top song. It's a good song.
Crazy Train's always one of my favorites too. I mean, I just don't know what songs are from which albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I like that song. I had to look it up because I didn't know what album it was on. It's on the No Rest for the Wicked album. It's called Breaking All the Rules.
Oh, dude, that was like my anthem as a kid. For a kid like me that got picked on all the time in high school, that was a freaking anthem for me. Breaking All the Rules.
Also, I'll tell you, an underrated song is Perry Mason.
Oh yeah, I got my dad to listen to Perry Mason last night because he doesn't care. My dad's a little bit more country than rock and roll. But when I said Ozzy made a song about Perry Mason, he went, "What?" And I played him the song last night, and he was just like befuddled. I was like, "Hey, Ozzy did a cover of Staying Alive." Okay, he did a covers album too. So,
if you didn't know, everybody that don't know, he was a huge John Lennon and Beatles fan. The Beatles are what got him into music. And like, I love that there's an interview where they said, "Ozzy, what would you be doing if you hadn't got into the music business?" He said, "Oh, I'd probably be a burglar." So it literally saved his life. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, I didn't do any digging, but I'm planning on it.
Like I said, for me, most of my love for Ozzy was the '80s. I did like the stuff from the '90s as well. I've got everything. I've got all of his stuff on digital except all the way up to Scream. I don't have the Covers album. I don't have Ordinary Man. I don't have Patient Number 9. But as far as favorite songs, of course, Crazy Train is going to be, to me, Crazy Train is going to be an automatic. I mean, you don't talk about Ozzy and don't talk about Crazy Train.
I left that off. I forgot. I'm losing it.
I just Rich mentioned it. Mr. Crowley, dude, have y'all seen? My buddy Tim pointed out to me, and I just watched it today, where Jack Black and some guys went and recreated the Mr. Crowley video.
Yeah, with all the School of Rock kids.
Yeah, that was pretty freaking amazing. Right down to the outfit that he was wearing. I mean, it's pretty cool. But and then like I said, Flying High Again, Over the Mountain, Ultimate Sin, Shot in the Dark. For me, No Rest from the Wicked, I could pretty much list like almost that whole damn album. Thank God for the, I think that was on there. Thank God for the Bomb. That was either on Ultimate Sin or No Rest for the Wicked. Then he had a song called Demon Alcohol that I loved. No More Tears is one of those albums I could put from started at the beginning, go to the end.
Yeah.
You know, Hellraiser, Desire, Mama I'm Coming Home, Mr. Tinker Train. You know, it's just a really No More Tears. I loved the song See You on the Other Side, and I've been listening to that a lot lately. And
Goodbye to Romance.
Forget he had that duet with Lita Ford too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Close Your Eyes, Close My Eyes Forever. Yeah, that was on Lita's album. And as far as his newer stuff, dude, I get pumped every time I listen to the song Let Me Hear You Scream. I love that freaking song.
I even like the song he did with Post Malone.
See, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't hear the one he did with Post Malone.
I'll send you a link to it.
Tim says, without a doubt, Crazy Train is not only my favorite Ozzy song, but all-time favorite song by any artist, with Bark at the Moon as a close second. Yeah, my buddy Tim, like, I have two friends that I could tell you that are like just diehard crazy Ozzy fans. Tim was one of them, and my buddy Scott, who, like I said, who passed away last year, a couple of days ago last year, he was the other one. And it was weird because a couple of nights ago I was talking to Tim on the phone, and I'd made a comment that, for those of you who didn't know my buddy Scott, he was an avid wrestling fan, and he was wrestling, heavy metal, and he was getting into comics. So, you know, he grew up listening to Ozzy, Crew, all that stuff. I was like, man, I don't know what he would, if my buddy Scott was still alive to see what happened this week. I don't know if his heart could take it, because he loved Ozzy, he loved Hulk Hogan. He was a massive Hulk Hogan fan. So, I mean, he's up there in heaven with him right now. So, I mean.
Top three for me would probably be Paranoid, Mama I'm Coming Home, then Crazy Train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in that order.
Also, like Changes was great. It was a ballad.
It was good.
I'm going to tell y'all something. This is just me being honest. I was listening to the radio like okay, so Ozzy's Boneyard, no surprise, is playing a lot of Ozzy stuff in tribute. But I got a little flash drive I put in my stereo, nothing but Ozzy, and Crazy Train come on the way home. And sometimes I sing along. You know, when you're by yourself, you sing along in the car. I can only imagine what people, when I'm driving down Highway 18, was doing when I'm sitting there singing Ozzy, trying to drive and doing all this shit. I can just imagine what they were going. Kind of probably like that dude in Click, where Adam Sandler saw that dude do that stuff in Click.
They were probably like, dude, roll down your window so we could hear it.
Probably.
Yeah.
But for the first time ever, I'm always real critical about. I try not to sing loud enough where I can hear my own voice, but because I believe myself to be a horrible singer. But I played Crazy Train on the way home today, and sang that sumbitch as loud as I could, and just let it roll. And I was like, for those of you that may say, well, that sounds pretty cool, but for my family to go, ooh, I'm glad I wasn't in the car. So, I mean, but, yeah. Hi, Jennifer. That's Tim's girlfriend. Tim has had a really rough week with Ozzy passing. Yeah. And that's another thing I want Jennifer made a good point because a lot of people be like, "Well, hell, he was just a celebrity." When you get
I
people
know.
that are like the soundtrack, I mean, Ozzy was a soundtrack, a part of our lives. His music was a soundtrack of our life. We don't, we have an idea that all these people that we love that have made a difference to us, whether we met them or not, is going to live forever. We forget they're human just like we
Well,
are.
they're immortalized to us. That's why I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, when I found out Ozzy died, I was like, holy crap. And then 2 days later, I went, what the hell, Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what? When I kind of approached this, I had somebody kind of like, I made a pretty heartfelt post about Val Kilmer because he's one of my favorite actors, right? And somebody's
dude, I
like,
love
well, you
Val.
care. You don't know him. You didn't know him. I said, yeah, but like, see, you don't understand. I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was disabled. I didn't have a lot of friends. I stayed in a lot, right? So I watched a lot of movies and TV. So like, I always see Val Kilmer movie, all those movies. I won't get into it a lot. You know what I mean, though. You grew up with these people.
Yeah.
I got some deep cuts I could tell you. I forgot about "Hole in the Sky."
Yep.
"Supernaut" is a good song. "Into the Void," "Children of the Grave." I love that one. And "Planet Caravan" and "Hand of Doom" are two. I think they're kind of overlooked songs sometimes. And "Hand of Doom" is about. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was saying
I'm
I
going to
didn't
do
know
a
that
solo.
"Hand of Doom" was about. They would meet a lot of Vietnam veterans on
I
at
didn't
their
know that.
concerts after the show, and they told them about what they did over there, and some of them getting hooked on drugs, and that's what the song's about.
I didn't know that. Now, when you was talking about songs, a song from his solo albums that made me that made me think about it, I believe Tim's better at this than I am, so I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. There is a song off of Osmosis that it didn't get any airplay that I know of, but it's called "Old L.A. Tonight," and it's a really good song that I always like. And of course, hell, Ozzy even made, okay, and I really wish I had clips for this. Ozzy not only made music for soundtracks because he did "Party with the Animals" on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie soundtrack, which I love that song. But he was in a movie called Trick or Treat in 1986 with freaking Gene Simmons and the kid that played Skippy from Family Ties and Tony Fields. And, that's one of my favorite. I call it a guilty pleasure, but I'd never feel guilty watching that movie. I love that damn movie. And Fastway did the soundtrack. But Ozzy played a preacher that was hell bent on spreading the evil of rock and roll in 1986 when he was going through that stuff himself. I mean,
I thought that was crazy. That was fun.
These evil men must be stopped. All right, Tim says, in high school, I used to listen to Ozzy almost every time I was doing my homework after school, and I ended up graduating as a salutatorian, so I can't say his music was a bad influence.
There you go. Well, yeah, a lot of those bands had to deal that. Judas Priest had a lawsuit against them. What's funny is they want to blame the music, but they don't want to blame the environment people live in and mental illness, but they always want to go to music and movies and video games.
Oh,
that's the easy target. Like the Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife. She started that PMRC.
Yep.
And I one of the things that's so funny about that was they screwed up and they looked at Dee Snider and had him typecast, right?
Yeah.
Dee shows up and he's like, your song "Under the Blade's about sadomasochism." He's like, no. He said, I had surgery on my vocal cords. It's about that. It's not my fault that Senator Gore's wife has a dirty mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like you said, they went after Ozzy for "Suicide Solution," and then they went after Judas Priest for. I honestly don't remember the song that they went after Judas Priest for. But
I can't remember, but they said it said "Do It" in it or something. I remember that.
Jennifer says everyone has their heroes, and when you don't have a lot of good friends, these people can become real to you. Yeah, she's true. almost
true.
like being a member of your group. I didn't realize that back then, but I do now.
It's the same
yeah,
thing with comic books. Like that's why I hold like Captain America, Amazing Spider-Man, Uncanny X-Men, and G.I. Joe comics in such high regard, esteem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like when we were
And
doing good
Superman.
cinema, when we were doing good cinema with Christopher Reeve, and we made the comments. Both of us said pretty much the same thing about how these are people that we should always strive to be, and then we go one step further and say Christopher Reeve is what every human should strive to be like. I mean,
Yeah. Not all heroes wear capes.
exactly.
No heroes wear capes. It matters in real life, So
No.
you don't see like Navy SEALs wearing red capes. So
Well, I was going to say to steal a tagline from Till Valhalla Project, the heroes of the real world wear dog tags. Yeah, he says, I think the Judas Priest song was better than you, better than me,
Yeah, that's
better
the one.
than you. So, okay. But yeah, they have like a thing that says their heroes wear dog tags, and that's true. I mean,
That's why I always tell everybody, like, who's your hero? Superman or Batman or no, my dad. He was he volunteered in the Marine Corps to go to Vietnam. So
I was gonna say for the longest time when I was a kid, you don't think about this stuff when you're a kid. Hey Tony, who's your hero? Captain America, Spider-Man, whatever. But as I gotten older, somebody asked me, they said, Tony, who's your hero now? I said, my hero's my dad. He was my first role model. And like you said, my dad went to Vietnam and Thailand. He was doing the construction stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they were the ones that went up there and did what they had to do. And Jennifer says, when there's a void in your heart, you have to fill it. Exactly. What you choose to fill it with is instrumental to who you become. That is true.
I choose to do it with some stuff when I was younger that I probably should have been putting in my body, but now it's music and comic books and collectibles. Thank God.
I can always say, as far as me and my small drug habit when I had it, I just smoked weed. I did something stupid when I was a kid, or when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s, and it made me stop it all. It made me stop it all except the drinking.
I had a few of those happen to me, but it didn't make me stop, unfortunately.
Oh no, dude! I was at a party, and I got so drunk and high that I licked meth off a razor blade, and I remembered it the next day, and found out what it was made out of, and I was like, if this is going to make me do that, then I don't need to be doing this.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I mean, it's one thing when somebody tells you. It's one thing when one of your friends go to you, you know what you did, but when you actually wake up the next day and actually remember it, and you're like, oh no, that's
no. Actually, to me, what's scarier is when you wake up and you don't remember. Oh, dude, don't you know what you did? Then somebody calls you and goes, "Did you remember what you did last night?" That's even scarier to me.
Yeah, but we can be thankful that when we were doing our stupid shit, there was no such thing as social media.
Oh God, I would be dude, so canceled right now.
Yeah, I'd have been canceled right out the gate, dude.
I think we all would have been.
Oh yeah.
I'm just glad there wasn't any smartphones to record videos of some of these parties.
Yeah.
Some of the things I said to my aunts when they were blasting me for the music I listened to, I'm not going to repeat it, but yeah, I was not a good person. I could be a little bit of a smart ass, believe it or not. But we talked a little bit about Ozzy. Let's talk a little bit about Hulk Hogan. As a wrestling fan, you didn't grow up in the 80s and not know who the hell Hulk Hogan was. WrestleMania, just pick a WrestleMania. Hell, one all the way up, whether he was slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, or he was fighting the Ultimate Warrior at 6, or he was, 1 minute he was helping Randy Savage in WrestleMania 4 win the World Wrestling WWF title, and then the next year they were fighting. So, I mean, hell, even his match against Sergeant Slaughter at 7. And then, of course, he was one of the 3 instrumental people that went to WCW, did the big heel turn and formed the NWO. I mean,
oh yeah, all they want to talk about now is the John Cena heel turn, but Hulk Hogan was like, oh dude, I remember there were children crying, and they were throwing stuff at in the ring. It was like wild. somebody tried to run in. Remember when somebody tried to run in the ring and Nash had to kick him out?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was. But Hulk Hogan was just like I was watching. Right now, I'm watching. I got it on mute, but like WWE is on their WWE Vault YouTube channel has been live streaming the best of Hulk Hogan. I'm watching him wrestle Triple H right now. But a minute ago, it was Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper,
The tag team,
versus
WrestleMania 1.
tag team WrestleMania 1. It was.
I was there.
You were there?
Oh, you were
Madison
there?
Square Garden, man. I was like 9 years old.
Shit. Dude,
Damn.
tell us about it. Tell us about it.
You had the floor.
Hell, I'll give you the spotlight. Come on.
I think my father was more into it than I was at the time, and he got tickets, and I'm like, oh, cool. You know, I used to watch it on Saturdays or whatever it was, and I didn't know how big it was at the time because it was WrestleMania 1, right? We didn't have like front row seats, but we had probably like 15th row seat. We were right in the alley where everybody walked down, and that was the coolest thing of my life, man. I remember when the big Russian dude walked out. I forgot his name.
Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. The tag team, right? Was it Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper versus Hogan and Savage?
Yeah, and they had Jimmy Superboss Snuka was in their corner, and Cowboy Bob Orton was in the other corner.
That's right.
And Muhammad Ali was a special outside referee, and Liberace was the timekeeper.
Yeah, and
it was
that was
Mr. T.
That was the first and only time I went to Madison Square Garden until 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I went back for the second time in my life, and I'm like, this isn't what I remember, because it was a dump back then. It was
I've heard that.
It was like the old Yankee Stadium where it smelled like beer and piss everywhere. But now it's like beautiful. So it's just amazing what that venue turned into. But that was cool, man. And I went to a couple of wrestling things, but WrestleMania 1 is probably one of the most iconic things I've probably ever went to.
Yeah, I like what Jennifer said.
So you were watching a piece of history and didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think about all the legends that were in that ring or around that ring in that main event. Like I said, Muhammad Ali. I mean, the greatest of all time, really. I mean, what else can you say about him? And
what year was that? 84?
84, 85.
84.
Yeah, that was like 9 years old.
That was also the one that Cyndi Lauper was at?
Yeah. Because she came out with Wendy Richter when she came out to wrestle the Great Moolah.
Yeah.
But I guess Andre was probably there. I guess Andre was there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there. I definitely remember seeing Andre. I don't remember who he fought.
Is that the one where he fought Big John Studd?
That might have been the one where John Studd said nobody can slam me, and he was doing that.
Yeah.
And Bobby Heaton had that bag of money, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll give you this money if you can slam Big John Studd." Yeah, I remember that. That was man, Mr. T. I mean, they don't think about it now. This is the younger generation, but Mr. T was like so popular back then. The 18 was out. He just done that movie DC Cab and Rocky 3.
Rocky 3.
Yeah, with Hogan. And Thunder Lips, baby. Yeah. Clubber Lang. Yeah,
I loved Hogan in that Rocky 3 bit he did. That was amazing.
Yeah, Stallone was on TMC yesterday, and I can't remember the guy's name that runs TMC was interviewing him, and he was talking about he says, I didn't realize how big he was till I got in the ring with him. And he's like, no, you got to make it look good. He said, he threw me like I was a lawn dart. But what was funny about that, that was his big break. And within Vince Sr. fired him over that.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yep, that's right.
But Vince McMahon Jr. was smart enough to realize we got to get this guy back. And he made that guy, and Hulk Hogan put that company on his shoulders when they went national. And the Monday Night Raw and everything happened after that with the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era and all that stuff. None of that would exist without.
I was gonna say people can say what they want to. They can watch this back and disagree with me, but I will die on this hill. If it wasn't for Hogan, there wouldn't be no AEW. There would be no TNA or none of that stuff. Now WCW was doing well with Flair, but I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't doing too great until Hogan showed up.
As great as Ric Flair was, Hulk Hogan, like after those matches, and they would kick that Rick Derringer song in.
Yeah.
And he would start doing the poses.
Yeah.
That crowd would erupt.
Oh yeah.
And I remember, who was it? Somebody said the place would be shaking almost.
Yeah.
And it was insane.
I think one of the first WrestleManias, I watched WrestleMania 6 because I was a big Ultimate Warrior guy back then. I was a little kid, and I watched the Warrior Hogan match. But that was also that same year. That was the year I realized that the Rockers showed up. And I realized Shawn Michaels was there with Marty, and I'd followed Shawn when he was in AWA. So I was like, yeah. So I mean, I think they lost. I think they debuted at WrestleMania 5 and lost to, I don't even remember who it was they wrestled, but they lost to them.
The Hart Foundation, I think.
Was that the first time they fought? Because I thought they fought somebody else.
No, it might have been.
Remember.
Was it Demolition?
No, it was just an offbeat tag team that, well, I say offbeat, but they were probably big back then.
It might have been like it could have been the Brain Busters or any of those guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean.
But, yeah, the only other wrestling group or wrestler that probably got that big a pop in the 80s, and it's not in comparison, but the Road Warriors.
Oh, yeah, dude. LOD, Road Warriors, they got popped anywhere they went. They got that pop.
But, yeah, the thing about the Hulk was like you said, like my grandmother, she didn't follow celebrities or wrestling or anything or sports. And she knew who Hulk Hogan was. Everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was.
I remember when I was a kid around that time, they had those stupid rubber thumb wrestling figures you could slide on.
Yeah. I used to love the LGN figures. They had the real big giant. Well, they didn't move or anything, but you could make them bounce off each other and wrestle. I had all of those. I wish I still had them. I'm worth some money now.
I had to consult with the almighty Google, and it was the Twin Towers. Twin Terrors.
Oh, okay.
With Slick as their manager. They were the ones that beat the Rockers at WrestleMania 5. But yeah, we could talk about the Rockers too. They had, they were in it for a minute, did something stupid, got fired, and then they came back, and that was when they really, But we're not here to talk about the Rockers. We're here to talk about Hulk Hogan.
Oh, well, we failed to mention something also. WrestleMania 3 and the build-up to WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, that was the body slam of Andre the Giant, right?
Yeah, and remember they're on were they on Piper's Pit, and Andre comes out with Bobby the Brain Heenan and said, "You've never been my friend. You won't let me have a shot at the title," and he rips Hulk's gold chain off his neck.
Yeah,
and that was like, it was like the biggest thing. I remember watching that. My stepfather had like a big giant, remember the big giant satellite dishes you had to move around with a remote? And we watched WrestleMania 3 on it at the Silverdome, man. And that was just, you think about the undercard matches, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But no, well, that was great. But what we all wanted to see was Andre versus Hogan.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest though, if Andre didn't want him to slam him, he wouldn't have let him do it. But that just showed that he trusted Hogan and respected him. And it was just a slam heard around the world,
He'd have been like, "No, boss, we ain't doing that."
In front of the largest audience that's ever watched. I mean, they kind of say they may have fudged the numbers a bit, but they say there was like 107 or 9,000 people in the Silverdome that day.
It was pretty damn
the Silverdome holds like 70,000 people, and that's not even without opening up the floor. So
yeah,
I'm sure it was.
So that's probably about accurate then, I'd say.
Yeah, it's probably 90 at least.
Yeah. Still very impressive for a.
Oh yeah. And of course, when he went.
One of my favorite childhood movies, mentioning Andre the Giant, man, Princess Bride.
Exactly. Yeah. Loved him in that movie.
And we can make fun of it now, and it might be a bad cinema candidate one day, but no holds barred. I thought that was cool when I was a kid.
Dude, first time I seen Zeus, when I seen Tiny Lister,
Yeah.
man.
Although
then to
now I
see
make
him-
fun of. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and then to see him in a wrestling ring, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that movie now, when you look back at it, and you're older, is the guy, and actually I think he was on Lost, and then he played the Lucifer on Supernatural. But the guy that played his brother Randy, that got put in a wheelchair, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of cringe now, but like we kind of joke. There was a show I watched called So Bad It's Good, and they watched that movie and they kept calling him Wheelchair Randy.
Oh hell. See, I always one of my favorite funny scenes from any of Hogan's movies was in Suburban Commando, when you see the Undertaker make, and I always forget the other wrestler, but they made guest appearances as the bounty hunters, and then when the Undertaker finally talks in the movie, he's got this like little squeaky kid's voice. We're gonna get
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
you. You're like, what the? No wonder you guys don't talk.
And then, I mean, he had some stuff that probably wasn't that successful. Like, but I still watched it. Remember Thunder in Paradise?
He actually showed up in Walker Texas Ranger, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say he did. I know Randy Savage. I think Randy Savage showed up, and that on Walker, and then I know Roddy did. And of course, a lot of them showed up on Baywatch for an episode or something like that.
Yeah. I got a question. Do you think Ozzy and Hulk ever met?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I'm going to Google it just to see if I can find a picture.
Wasn't Ozzy at a WrestleMania in the 80s?
Yeah, I believe he was. He was at Raw a few times too. Like,
Yeah.
With like he did a bit with was it John Cena or something was there, or one of the, I can't remember who it was.
I know he did a bit with him and Sharon did a bit with DX and Big Show and freaking DiBiase and Rhodes and somebody else. And then he did a bit with Chris Jericho.
Yeah. He did do something like with the British Bulldogs once.
Yeah,
because that's Ozzy with
It says Ozzy Osbourne met Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 2 in 1986.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I don't see any images though. Let's see if there's images.
Jennifer says she loved Andre the Giant and the Princess Bride. Yes.
There may not have been pictures with them together though, because I know he came out with the British Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I don't see any pictures.
I see a picture of Ozzy with Captain Lou Albano and Dynamite Kid, but that's it. Yeah.
So let's do go ahead.
I just want to show what I'm watching right now. It's Hogan versus, it's like a big 4-way match or something. WCW.
So who favorite match for Hogan?
Well, it's going to be a later match for me later on in his career, but was it WrestleMania 17 or 18? Hulk Hogan versus The Rock.
I don't remember which one it was. I want to say it was 19, but I may be wrong.
Because like Hogan had been a bad guy, but then he comes to Toronto, and like in the middle of the match, Rock's a babyface, but like the crowd starts rooting for Hulk in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, that one always stands out in my mind for some reason because you could just feel the electricity. I wasn't there, but I was watching it on pay-per-view and I could feel the electricity just like whoo.
Same here. It was 18. My buddy Tim says I actually still have my 3D glasses from going to see Freddy's Dead. I still got mine as well from 1991. And one of the earpieces has an advertisement for Suburban Commando, which came out around the same time.
You know, another thing I know we're talking about Hogan, but I just thought of something I forgot to say about Ozzy.
We can always go back to Ozzy.
There's so many great stories that all these other musicians that worked with him and toured with him can tell you. Like, I won't get into the real wild ones. I just want to get a funny one because everybody knows about him in Motley Crue and him snorting ants.
Yeah.
But the one I want to talk about is the story I heard Zach Wilde tell somebody the other day on a radio interview. He said, when I first joined the band, he says, Randy Castillo and the other guys were like, you need to quit going out and drinking with Ozzy. Don't get caught in that spider web. He's like, I didn't know what they meant. He says, Ozzy was one of my heroes, growing up. I idolized him. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go drink with the boss. And so he said, but the thing is, you realize about Ozzy is Ozzy's not the type of person you said you want to rob a bank with. Because the next day when Sharon's like, where did you go? Where were you at all night? He's like, oh, I was just out with Zach and Randy and all of them. And we were drinking. He says, then we were the ones that got in trouble, he said.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I got to sign off, guys. But
All
it
right,
was fun hanging with you guys, man.
Always
Appreciate it, brother.
Have a
Thanks
good
for
night.
hanging out with us. Have a
Have
good night, man.
stream, man. See ya.
Yeah, and of course, I guess if we're going to talk about stuff in the past, I only know this from hearing. Of course, we all know that Ozzy whizzed on the Alamo. Well, he didn't really whiz on the actual Alamo. It was more of a side building. But I know for a long time he was banned in San Antonio, but he went out of his way to make up for it. And they finally let him come back during No More Tears to do a show. And they actually did a tribute to Ozzy after he passed away. So that was pretty cool. Oh, yeah.
The other funny thing about that story is I love the fact that, like, it kind of reminds me of the remember the old George Jones story about Tammy Wynette hiding his car keys so he couldn't go to the bar or the liquor store, and he took the John Deere lawnmower.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the same thing. Sharon, he had all his clothes, so he wouldn't be able to go out and drink. So he took one of Sharon's green dresses and put it on and walked to the bar in San Antonio, and he got hammered. And on the way back, he was looking for a place to take a leak. And it just so happened to be a building connected to the Alamo somehow.
Yeah.
But, of course, the media got a hold of it, and he was actually peeing on the actual Alamo. And, they kind of sensationalized it. But, yeah, he did a lot of wild things. Yeah. It's true. But he had a good heart. And if you watch the Osbournes, he was seemed like he really was a pretty good dad. I mean, they took their kids on tour with him. And they treated everybody that toured with him like family. Zach Wilde said he was basically a father figure to him.
I can't imagine what Zach's going through right now.
I mean, yeah, he's been kind of dark. He posted that video of him and Jack, but I think that was before the concert, or during the concert. But yeah,
I'd seen a thing where it said that Pantera had decided to postpone some of their tour to mourn the passing of Ozzy, and I was like, yeah, you got Randy, not Randy, but excuse me, I don't know why I said Randy. Zach is going to be in England at the funeral. He will be. He lost, like you said, he lost a mentor that he'd been around for 40 years. So yeah, he's going to be there paying respects to Ozzy. My buddy Tim said, FYI, not only was Ozzy a two-time inductee to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, yes, he got in with Black Sabbath and as a solo artist, but he's also a inductee for the WWE Hall of Fame, the Celebrity Wing? And then Jennifer says, if you see his daughter's online tribute message, she said he was her best friend. That says more than anything else. Yeah.
I can't imagine what his family's going through right now because they were really close. They're like, you could tell by the Osbourne show, and when him and Jack and Kelly had a good bond because remember the show that him and Jack did where they toured across the country, they traveled across the country, that RV.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. And there's also another clip I watched the other day. It was of Ozzy, and he was on Conan O'Brien. It was when Conan O'Brien was on NBC when it was still late night with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. Before
he got the late show gig. And all that stuff happened. But it was right after 9/11. And Conan comes on. He's like, well, he was doing a bit. He's like, it's been a tough week here, He said, well, we have a guest coming on. We brought him in early to cheer everybody up. And it shows Ozzy walking around everybody's offices and meeting everybody with Conan. And there's a bird in a cage, and he tries to take it out of the cage. He's answering phones and stuff. It's just hilarious. And it just shows he had a good sense of humor. And he was kind of guy that lit up a room. He loved everybody. He, like I said, like when he had concerts, he told everybody, "I love you all." And I think we can learn a lot from Ozzy. Everybody wants to say Prince of Darkness and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But no, when it came down to that was just like, it was just like Alice Cooper said.
Yeah.
When I'm doing that show, this is vaudeville.
Yep.
This is a performance art. Like he said, when I met I know we're talking about Ozzy, but Alice Cooper said he was, Alice Cooper, if anybody that doesn't know, he was neighbors with Groucho Marx and became friends with him.
Yep.
And Groucho came to his show and said, this is cool. This is like vaudeville. It's exactly what Groucho saw it immediately, what it was, So yeah,
he had a lot of.
It's a character.
I was gonna say he had a lot of the greats show up at his shows, Alice's shows.
Yeah, because they understood as a performer, they understood what it was, and Ozzy was a character he played.
Yeah.
And he played it well, because like in the 80s, he didn't like to give interviews backstage or anything like that, and I probably that might have been by Sharon's design.
May have been.
Because the kind of music he makes is, this guy's like dark, man. I love this. It had a horror movie vibe to it. Bark the Moon video. It's like a little miniature horror movie. I'm talking my head off here, but yeah. Oh, we forgot a song. A duet he did. Another duet he did. It was his song, but I think there's a version of him and Lemmy. It's called Hellraiser. I love that song.
Yep, they did a 30th anniversary mashup. My buddy Tim sent me that when I watched it for the first time, and I was like, yes, that is amazing. That's actually my favorite version of the song now.
Yeah, me too.
Because for those of you who don't know, Lemmy's version for Motorhead is on the soundtrack for one of the Hellraiser movies. I think it's maybe the first one. I don't know. Tim, tell me. Let me know, Tim. You're in the chat. Let me know which one Hellraiser, that movie that Motorhead did the song for. I want to say it was the first one, but you may be right. It may be the second one. Tim knows. Hellraiser is his jam, and he shares that video a lot on our Facebook group for TNT Rock and Roll Asylum.
I need to send you to my I got a music lounge group. It's in Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth.
Okay. But yeah, because that's a pretty damn good video too. Because I knew Ozzy did Hellraiser, and at the time, Tim says Motorhead's version is in Hellraiser 3. But yeah, to hear that mashup, they blended that song so perfect. And like Tim said when we talk about it, you hear more of Ozzy's version, but the way they blended everything together, that is like to me the definitive version of that song now, is with both of them. And I'll tell you this, I still think that Eddie Van Halen is one of the greatest guitarists ever. And I've always kind of put him a little bit over Randy a little bit. I know Tim's going to be like blasphemy. But some of the other things that they have been showing or playing on Ozzy's Boneyard is they've been playing outtakes of Randy's solos. And I listened to one that was like 4 minutes long of him just playing. And he played all kinds of crap. And I was like, that's better than Eruption. I was like, holy crap.
Have you ever heard of this the tribute band? I love this. Ozzy met him when he was on that road trip with his son Jack. They're called Black Sabbath.
I've heard of, yeah.
And but let's talk about. I had a good idea we could talk about something about Ozzy.
All right.
Bands that were definitely influenced by Ozzy. And Black Sabbath. I could name 5 right off the top of my head right now.
All right, name them.
Tool. Soundgarden.
Yep.
God, I thought I could off the top of my head, but now I can't. Motley Crue. All those bands, dude. Marilyn Manson.
Yep.
Slipknot. All those bands. Mudvayne. I mean, a little bit more of a proggy metal, but still. I'm sure they would let you know. And like all those grunge bands, even Nirvana, Alice in Chains, all of the bands, Mudhoney, they were all influenced by Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath.
I was going to say the first two that I thought of, and one of them, I don't know the name of it. Tim will correct me. But I want to say it was the guy that was the singer for Suicidal Tendencies. Might have been one of his solo groups. But they did a song called Therapy, and Ozzy was in the song.
A lot of punk bands like Ozzy too, like that. They were influenced by Sabbath.
And Typo Negative. Typo Negative was heavily influenced by Sabbath.
Oh yeah,
And,
Rob Zombie,
White
Zombie.
Yep. A lot of bands that it says Tim says Eddie Van Halen is my favorite guitarist, but Steve Vai and Randy Rhoads tied for an extremely close second place. Yep.
I'm a big. I love Brandy, and he's one of the top ones for me too. But there was a lot of great. I really love, and I don't know if this is something a lot of people would pick, but another two my favorite Ozzy guitarists is Zakk Wylde.
I love Zach.
And then I love Jakey Lee.
Jake.
And then you had Tony Iommi played with him, and I can't remember the kid's name that played with him when Zach started touring with Black Label Society. That guy wasn't bad either. But he had a lot of guitars. Even Geezer Butler played bass in the solo band at one point.
Randy Castillo played drums, like we was talking about earlier.
Yep. Vinny Appice, or was it Vinny's brother? I can't remember which one. One of them played.
I think Vinny. Hell, even Eric Singer of Kiss played drums for Black Sabbath.
Yep.
I mean,
Steve Vai and George Lynch auditioned, but they didn't get the gig. But Steve Vai did a whole album with him. It was like they were doing like a collaboration, but they shelved the whole thing. I'd love to hear those tapes.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Tim says Mike Murr of Suicidal Tendencies had a side project called Infectious Grooves, which did the Therapy song with Ozzy.
And just like here's a good list of people that have covered Ozzy Osbourne songs throughout the year. Pantera did covered Planet Caravan. Metallica has covered Sabra Cadabra. The Cardigans even covered Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Motorhead, Hellraiser. The Butthole Surfers did Sweet Leaf. Sir Mix-a-Lot covered Iron Man once. Yes, you heard me right.
Yeah.
Faith No More, War Pigs. Metallica did Never Say Die. Even Coldplay and Dave Matthews Band have sung Changes.
Yeah.
So,
Maddie said, how you doing, Maddie? They said, is that a he or she? I don't know. They said, how y'all feel about people posting all these clickbait stuff using Ozzy's death and AI because it's making me really mad. People are using Ozzy's death for clicks. I just scroll on.
I try to ignore it, or I snooze the person that posted.
Yeah.
I don't like it either, though. I don't like it either, Maddie.
Anything you're gonna do?
Trujillo wasn't he in Suicidal Tendencies?
It says he was in Infectious Grooves. I'm a she. Sorry, Maddie. I just didn't want to. Welcome to the show. I didn't want to say the wrong thing because I'm known for making a lot of mistakes.
It's all good.
Yeah, Tim says that Robert Trujillo was a bassist for Infectious Grooves, who played like we said, who played for Ozzy, and now he's playing for Metallica.
I seen it on Ozfest with him in 2000, and dude, Ozzy was just a force of nature on stage. Dude, they had this big chair that came down from the rafters.
Yeah,
and it was like he strapped him with a 3-point harness, and they put him up there and he has a big water cannon on. He was just dousing everybody, and all the women were throwing their shirts up, and it was wild. It was a good time though. He's like, let's effing go crazy. He just that's what was the one thing though. It was what's heartbreaking that he couldn't. He wanted to stand up so bad at that last show. You could tell. He didn't have the strength to do it. But
And let's talk about something else Ozzy did that he shared the stage with quite a few other rock stars. That now, granted, I know there's more behind the scenes stuff to it, but he shared the stage for a couple of nights in Moscow. He was part of the Moscow Music Peace Festival with bands like.
Can you imagine being on a plane with all those maniacs going to Moscow?
I've heard stories. I've heard rumors that You had Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Scorpions. Of
Skid
course, I don't know
Row.
if Scorpions was on the plane with them. Skid Row. I mean, I heard stories that there was some crazy shit going on. But and they were all at that time. All those bands were Gorky Park. They were a German band back then. They were all managed by Doc McGee back then. And the story is, and you can take it with a grain of salt, but apparently the whole idea to do the show was because Doc got in some trouble with some drugs or something.
Oh, that's absolutely 100% true.
Okay, I thought that was. I never knew if it was true or not, but so they did the concert in Moscow. You know, kind of like I guess as a.
You know, another funny little inside story about that whole gig.
I know Tommy Lee
was that Nikki Sixx says, you know, Doc McGee was their manager and he was the manager of Bon Jovi.
Yeah, that was what led to Motley Crue breaking.
He felt like Bon Jovi was being favored by him because they were his darling at that point. And when they walked off stage, he punched Doc McGee in the face and walked off and said, "You're fired."
I knew one of them punched it, and then they ended up buying their own plane tickets home.
Yep.
Because at this time, believe it or not, Motley Crue was sober.
Yeah.
They had just finished Dr. Feelgood, and they were fixing to release that juggernaut of an album. So, yeah, they were pretty pissed off because everybody, you know, they were supposed to be there about drug and alcohol awareness, and they said there was drugs and alcohol on that plane.
Oh, I'm sure
they were doing their best to stay away from it. Maddie says, "I wish I could have seen Ozzy in concert. Me too. It is my dream, but I was born too late. I hate being 17 and broke. I would have loved to have seen him play his last." Okay, Maddie, you may not know this, and if you do, you may already know this, but they are planning on doing a version of the Back to the Beginning concert. They're going to do I think it's like 100 minutes. I forgot how long it's going to be. They're going to release that next year in theaters, so everybody can watch it. And I didn't get to watch the show either, and you can bet your ass I will be in the theaters watching that when it comes out.
I could recommend. What's the name of that? I mean, I'll have to look it up. I was going to say, if you get a chance, Maddie, go back and there's a DVD and a CD for Live and Loud. That was for the No More Tears tour.
That would be you would love that show, and I'm sure he's got other concert
like
DVDs. Yep.
I also recommend this one.
Hey Tim, recommend some Ozzy live concerts.
I recommend this one too. Ozzy live at Budokan.
Oh yeah, and I've seen that one as well.
And also, you can find these on YouTube most of the time.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of auspice on there, and I'm just saying it's great to see the farewell concert, Maddie, but you need to see Ozzy in his prime on a video.
Yeah.
Because
it's
amazing.
I was gonna say I'm sure you could probably find a concert with Randy. I'm pretty sure there's probably a concert on YouTube for every version of Ozzy's band.
There is. I just watched one in '89 in Philadelphia Spectrum.
Yeah, I was gonna say whether he was with Jake or whoever,
Even
Zach.
Randy Rhoads. Yeah, it may not be the highest quality with Randy, but you'll see it. There'll be some, and there's videos. There's videos of that, and you're 17. I didn't get to go to a lot of concerts till I got out of my mom's house.
Yeah.
So there'll be, although I do sympathize with you because the prices now are out of control. Yeah.
Now I will tell you, Maddie, that when you watch Live and Loud, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was during No More Tears, the No More Tears tour, but it was called No More Tours because after the release of No More Tears, Ozzy planned on retiring. He was going to put it up, be done with it, and then he got off the road for a few years, and the kids drove him crazy, and he said, "You know what? Retirement sucks." And that was the name of his tour for the Osmosis, was Retirement Sucks. So, I mean, and it says, Jennifer says, even though you were born too late for Ozzy live concerts, you were blessed to be born in an age where you can Google them. Yes, and see things we never did when we were your age. Absolutely. I never got to see Kiss in the 70s, but I could live through it, through all the live stuff they've released through the Kissology box sets are on YouTube. I mean, but yeah, I out of all of them, like he mentioned, what was it you said, the Philadelphia Spectrum in '89?
Yeah.
That for me, No Rest for the Wicked is like really good too. But I'm biased. I mean, and then there's a lot of good stuff there. So anybody got any questions y'all want to ask me and Matt? Feel free to do so in the comments.
Yeah.
And as soon as I can get some money, I'm going to get that. Hopefully it won't go too outrageous, but I'm going to try to pick up that CD with the comic for Patient Number 9. Because like I said, until you showed it to me, didn't even know that comic existed. I knew, like, through the years, there used to be independent publications like Rock and Roll Comics and stuff like that, and they did Ozzy comics. And I guarantee you, all those books are probably shot up now.
And I'm going to share one more last memory. Ozfest 2001. I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was some of the bands I don't like. I didn't like Crazy Town was there, but Linkin Park. It was Linkin Park was there. Slipknot, Disturbed, Marilyn Manson, and Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
And when Black Sabbath came out, everything goes black, and you start hearing like Black Sabbath, the song. And they start playing, the riff starts hitting, and lightning struck behind the stage. Not on the stage, but, like way in the distance. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. It was like such an imagery. But they rocked out for 2.5 hours. And awesome. My ears, like I got home the next day and took a shower, and I was by the monitor. I took a Q-tip in there after I got out of the shower, and that my ear had blood in it.
Yeah. Tim said that he has been through 2 copies of the Live and Loud DVD. You get No More Tears era Ozzy plus a Black Sabbath reunion performing their title song at the end. I forgot about that. Welcome to the party. But yeah, I think it goes without saying that Ozzy has left. For me to say that Ozzy has left a mark on the world of music is an understatement. I mean, whether he was doing solo stuff or with Black Sabbath or doing stuff in reality with the Osbournes, the man was capable of doing a lot of great things with what he had. He had a great voice, and he was a character in World of Warcraft.
And he was in Little Nicky.
And he was in Little Nicky. He bit the head off a bat in Little Nicky. You can do it, Ozzy. Bite his head off.
He was also he became something else, like in the 2000s. Like, he became like a pop culture icon,
Thanks for hanging out, Maddie. You're welcome back anytime.
Anytime, man. Anytime, Maddie. Yeah, and you know what? Ozzy's a good lesson for all you people out there. Stay humble no matter where life takes you.
Exactly.
He used to get nervous. I'll tell you one more story. I know we're probably getting ready to end in a minute, but
yeah,
Henry Rollins said that he remembered touring with Ozzy in the Rollins band. And he said, just the way Ozzy interacted with people, it was just, but he said, we were backstage, and it's like the first show we did. And he said, I just couldn't believe this when he said this to me. He's like, is there a lot of people out there? And
yeah,
I think Henry just come back. He said, yeah, it's like a packed house. Ozzy, why? He goes, I'm always worried at every show nobody's going to show up. And Henry Rollins said, I looked at him and said, really? You sold out arenas throughout the world. He goes, I don't know. He says, I always just afraid nobody's going to show up. He gets nervous. He goes out there and does it. So,
and I think Jennifer just summed it up best. There was a lot of gravitas added to his name. You could feel it when people talked about him. he wasn't just another rocker. He was a legend in his own time. Yes, like I said, what Gene Simmons said, he was a singularity. There wasn't an Ozzy before. There'll never be another one like him. It's easy to throw around, labels like icon and legend, and
Yeah.
he was every bit of it. I mean, he was the consummate showman. He went out there and he got people's asses out of the seats. I mean, he went out there and had a good time with whatever city he was in, and I would have loved to have seen him. But we have all of his videotapes. We've got his albums. He's never really going to die. Never.
No,
Even after we're all dead and
you can't
gone.
kill rock and roll, right?
Nope. After we're all dead and gone, Ozzy's music is still going to be here. And I want to say hi to my mom. Hi, Mom. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank Matt and Rich for hanging out on tonight's show talking about Ozzy and Malcolm Jamal Warner. And we didn't talk about Malcolm that much. And Hulk Hogan. And thank everybody. So, Matt, what you got coming up before let's do some shameless plug.
Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Heroes for Hire Comic Club channel is the Sunday Super Show Extravaganza. We'll be previewing the new comic books coming out next week. And the trending comics of the week, the back issues, and my favorite segment, Out of Context panels of the week. We have some guest hosts. Sometimes Tony shows up when he's not busy. And then also I'm going to start a new thing. Tomorrow we're going to do a random surprise secret giveaway. So let everybody know, to be there tomorrow. And I'm going to start giving out ducks for a StreamYard duck race every month. I can't give away a lot of stuff, but I will guarantee you that I will find a cool comic book for you. And or comic books. But yeah, and I got a lot of stuff. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm gonna apologize ahead of time.
No, go ahead.
Also, tomorrow at 11 a.m. on Whatnot, I'm having a flat rate box sale. And what that means is I'll start a timer at like 2 minutes 30 seconds. Starting price $10, and I'll take a flat rate box that you get from the USPS, and I will fill it full of comics, and people will bid on it. And it should be a good time. I'm just trying to get rid of some stuff, and you get a great deal on some comics. If you're just getting into comic collecting, it'd be perfect. I sound like a used car salesman. And then Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Bad Cinema. I do a show where we review bad movies. And we're going to read a movie starring a 3-foot-tall Filipino martial artist from the 80s called Wing Wing in a movie called Kid Impossible. It should be a thrill ride. And then Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Comic Conversations, my guest will be Stu from Dr. Doom's Fan Club. And then Thursday at 12:30 Eastern, Good Cinema. And this week's Good Cinema movie is The Blues Brothers, starring Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. So I got a lot going on, but there you go.
Yeah, that's a lot right there. For me, as far as the channel goes, I was going to do a comic spotlight this week. I believe I don't even remember what number I'm on now, 71, 72. I can't believe I'm in the 70s on episodes for Tony's Comic Spotlight. But anyway, we're doing Amazing Spider-Man 238, the first appearance of the original Hobgoblin, Roger Kingsley. That'll be dropping next Friday or Saturday. We've got another episode of Into the Comiverse next week. And then after that, that'll probably be the final episode for a little bit because y'all, especially if you heard me last week, I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life because I'm on the last 4 days of me working as a Walmart employee because I finally got a job at Nestle. And I start that job on August 4th. And when I go to that job, I'm going to have my days off are going to shift so much to where I'll have every other weekend off. I'll have some days off during the week, but I'll be working 6 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. I'll be going back to the night shift. So, and I've always preferred working nights, so that's not that big a deal. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to start making a little bit more money. I will be. A lot of things are going to change. I may try to figure out whether or not I'm going to keep doing my live shows on Saturday or during the week because I may still do them on my Saturdays off, But like if something pops up where the wife wants to go out and do something, I gotta spend some time with the wife, do stuff with her, and then hopefully this Wednesday, fingers crossed, I'll be on Chris's Show Us What You Got, showing everybody how crazy I went buying Speed Racer, because Speed Racer #1 drops this week. And yeah, your boy Tony, who loves Speed Racer, and instead of getting just one book cover, he got as many of them as he can see. And I don't do that a lot, but Speed Racer holds a place in my heart like Transformers. Speed Racer was the first cartoon before Transformers. When I was a little kid, I fell in love with. I mean, it was freaking the Mach 5. And it's people can argue, but it's considered one of the first animes ever made, and I really loved it. And then I want to say real quick, Jennifer says the Blues Brothers. She loves the Blues Brothers. Tim says, great show and great tribute. Have a good night, fellow Comic Conrads. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Rest in peace, Hulkster. Rest in peace, Malcolm. And I wasn't going to bring this up, but yeah, next Thursday, which I may not be on, I'll try to be on the Comic Lounge, but we're going to be at my mom's having my birthday dinner because I turned 52. So.
Oh yeah, Comic Lounge, 7 p.m. Thursday.
Yep. So I'm gonna try to make it, but I may not make it. But I mean, this is gonna be one of those. Normally, when I'm on the Comic Lounge, I'll be like, "Okay, guys." At about 9, I'm usually like, "Okay, guys, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to work." But July 29th is my last day at Walmart. My first day at Nestle is August 4th. So all that time in between, I'm off. So who knows? I may show up late and then just hang out longer than I normally do. And I'm also thinking about, as far as the show somewhere down the line, I'm going to be looking for somebody for this show, or if I create a new show, to be a co-host. I want a co-host. And Matt, if you want to do it, hey, hit me up.
Well, I'm sure I could squeeze it in somewhere.
But something like that, I may, like I said, right now I'm going to try to, I may do like, if I do them on Saturdays, it'll be every other Saturday that I'm off, because of course, I can't do one on Saturday night when I'm working. But, I still want to keep doing this. I love doing this. I love hanging out with everybody. That whole time I was on hiatus, I missed this so bad. It was just, I was like, what do I do now? I'm so used to being on a live show. But everybody, thank you for watching this show as we pay tribute to the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm, Hulkster. If you're watching this on a replay, thank you for that. Thank you for everyone hanging out in the chat. Thank you, Matt, again. Thank you, Rich, for hanging out. And y'all, we're going to get out of here, and we will see y'all next time. So everyone be safe, take care, and God bless. We will see you next time.
I wonder, will we ever see each other again?
Who knows? God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money.